So as is the spirit, and I'm not exactly sure how this got started and why Zeev has this on the radar, but as has been the tradition, ending the Social Innovation Summit is the opportunity to have somebody who's very dynamic on stage. So a celebrity, but not just any celebrity, somebody who's taken their time and really proven themselves and put their celebrity to use in really exploring social innovation and philanthropy. And so we're very excited today to have Marc Pollick, and Marc was behind earlier presentations with Steve, and as the president of the Giving Back Fund, certainly has a lot of the celebrities that he works with and helps them and really empowers them to be able to give back in meaningful ways. And then accompanying him on stage will be Alicia Keys, that I know many of us have been waiting for and very excited about her recent grant from JP Chase, so congratulations with that. And we're going to end with a fireside chat between the two of these individuals, really talking about what they've done, what they've accomplished, and what your organization is all about that we should know. So welcome to the stage.
That's us.
Is this our fireside chat?
It is.
But where's the fire?
That's the one thing I forgot.
It's okay. Well, I'm excited. This was so cool. That was a total, complete surprise to me. The whole 25,000. Yeah.
You know how long I had that in the works?
Have you been working on that really hard?
No.
I thank you so much. That really means a lot.
We have to thank Chase,
Thank
JP
you.
Morgan
Yes.
Chase.
Thank you, Chase. Definitely.
So we're here today not to talk about your musical career. We're here to talk about your career as a philanthropist. Unless, of course, you want to do a song. I'm teasing.
This microphone isn't really that good.
Now, how I want you to view this is just an intimate conversation between the two of us, okay?
Around the fire.
These are just 700 eavesdroppers.
Yeah, it's kind of a big, big, huge, bright room. I like bright, big, huge rooms.
Have you been to the United Nations before?
I have. I have. And every time I come, it's really an inspiring place. I love it.
So you're not nervous?
No, I don't feel nervous.
I am.
I can tell. He's sweating.
We're gonna show a video in a moment, but before we do, I want to ask you my first question.
Okay.
All right. You could have chosen to lend your name, your fame, your talent, and your treasure to any charity in the world, and they would have been thrilled. You chose Keep a Child Alive.
Yes.
Tell me why that charity is so important to you, and why it should be so important to these 700 eavesdroppers.
I think you're more than just eavesdroppers, I want you to know. You're very important to me. And Keep a Child Alive is just, you know how sometimes things just happen to you and there's no way to expect it? And that's kind of what happened to me with Keep a Child Alive. And at the time, I was about, just put out my first record, and I had just traveled around the world for the first time touring. And the last stop that we made was Africa. And I was so thrilled to go to Africa. I just couldn't believe that music, something that I made in a one-bedroom apartment in Harlem, could get all the way to Africa. It really wowed me. And so when I got there, it was really incredible because it was a mixture of things that I went to do, and it was the first time I was introduced to the AIDS pandemic and what it means. And it wasn't just a word, and it wasn't just like a bunch of statistics, and it wasn't like a line on a chart. It was human beings that I was meeting and seeing and coming in contact with, and they were, my age. They were, 5 years younger than me, and they had dealt with the most difficult, horrible circumstances and situations and watched their parents just die and could do nothing about it because there was no way on earth, especially then, it was about 2001 or 2, to access medicine, the antiretroviral medicine that obviously we here could access, but no way. And this was also before generics, and it was way before. And so you know, to meet these people and to see them, and they're like my brothers and my cousins and my sisters and all of our brothers and cousins and sisters and, you know, daughters and sons, and it just endeared me to another level, because I remember sitting around speaking to this group of kids, and they were like 17 or 16, and they were like dealing with how to, you know, what happens when, you know, a boy or a girl doesn't want to talk to me because they think that I have AIDS because my mom died. And I was thinking, like, wow, you know, how all of us have to go through those boy and girl problems and trying to fit in. But on top of that, the stigma and the turn away and all of that pain, and how to raise their younger brothers and sisters alone. And I mean, I met these women that were pregnant or had babies, and they were just like, is there any way that you can do anything to help us get this medicine? And I was like 20, 21, and I was like overwhelmed, but so motivated to do something. And so it became a mission for me, and it just opened my eyes in a whole nother level. And I was able to begin, help co-found Keep a Child Alive. And it was all about providing the medicine for children and families who have AIDS and can't afford it. And for me, there was just nothing else. I couldn't turn my back. I couldn't come back to America and pretend like, oh, what a great trip. Like I had to give my time. I knew these people now, you know what I mean? And so I think that's why people should care, is because as opposed to looking at it as, you know, a statistic or this grand group of things that no one can ever put a dent in, instead, you know, seeing it as a human being, a younger brother, a sister, a cousin, your daughter, your son, your sister, your brother, like, and you see it as your family. And then you feel motivated because you're like, if it was up to me, I'd never let my family die. So that's what did it for me.
So what your eyes saw went directly to your heart.
Definitely. I mean, there was no way not to see it. And I think just when you start to meet people and you start to speak to people, you really recognize how much we're exactly the same. You know, somehow we get divided because of location or something like that, but we're so similar. So.
Tom Shadyac, the Hollywood producer, was speaking earlier. He made that exact same point.
Oh my gosh, it's totally true. So
I think we have a
smart.
video. He's very smart. He would agree. Is Tom still here? No, but he would agree. I think we have a video.
Let me tell you about it. Should I tell you about the video?
I think we have a video.
I think it'd be cool. Can I?
Oh, yes.
Not to take over the chat or
No,
anything.
absolutely.
All right.
I thought that was the question where you told me about. There's a tell me about it part?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, man.
I missed that rehearsal.
Are you sure this is the right guy?
Uh-oh. I'm going to get bumped now for next year.
I'm just playing. I'm totally just playing. So that is...
So you're going to sing?
Yes. That actually is a great intro to Keep a Child Alive, obviously why I got involved and that kind of thing. But this is cool because the video that you're going to see is a documentary called Keep a Child Alive with Alicia Keys. And this is something I'm really, really proud of, not only because of the emotion that we were able to convey and capture and the humanity, just the humanness of the AIDS pandemic that you'll witness in the documentary, but because it really showcases the innovation that Keep a Child Alive uses to bring attention to the pandemic and also to the children that it impacts. So what we did was we launched this campaign at a live stream, a live show that I did, and we asked the audience to text the word alive to a particular number, and what that allowed them to do was donate to Keep a Child Alive and also become entered in a contest that they would be able to come with me to Africa. And so of those people, then we also asked them to attach a word that resonated with a feeling that they felt about Africa. So 24,000 people did that, and that generated all this content that was able to be shared and viewed by everybody. And from those 24,000 people, then we chose 5 people to actually be my travel companions and come with me to Africa. And so in this documentary that was aired on Showtime, you're able to see, you know, what we experienced. Toss to the video. In 2010, my organization Keep a Child Alive hosted a contest to win a 5-day journey to South Africa with me to see the effects of the AIDS pandemic on the African continent. 24,000 people entered the contest by texting a word that best described their feelings about Africa. Out of the 24,000, only 5 were chosen. This is their journey.
I'm looking at you today and I'm saying to myself, you know, we have another challenge. You're going to see when we visit tomorrow, we're looking at the issues of HIV and AIDS, where we desperately need your assistance. I chose the HIV and AIDS world because I felt like I could make a difference, to the child who has to raise herself up, to a child who lives in a total informal settlement where there isn't any hope at all. So we are here to say, you are great, we have hope, and together with you, we'll take you into your future.
We had heard about Mom Carol and Nikahang and the kids there, but when you're there with them, all I could think about is these are like my cousins, these are like my friends, these are people I know in high school, these are people I know.
I had to choose something that was priceless, something that had nothing to do with money. If my great-great-great-grandmother was here, what she would do is that she would open up her skirt, to make sure that we don't have an orphan.
My name is Alicia, and I am very, very proud and excited to be here today. Mama Carol's talking about greatness today. That's something that we have to believe in inside of ourselves every moment. So I'm really glad to be back. This is a very, very special moment for me.
A child-headed household would be any child who is heading other children, from 9 to 13.
My mom had to put me in that position that I had to be the one who was actually more stronger. Yeah, losing a mom is something. Losing a dad is also something else. But if you're willing to actually push yourself further, you can go anywhere.
There's nobody that could go there and not be affected.
Mom Carol saw me and said, "Who are you?" I said, I'm looking for a place to stay because I was living in the street.
I was absolutely overwhelmed. My feelings were just all over the place. A lot to take in.
I was asking myself, why didn't I forgive my mom before she passed away? And even now, I need my mom to be with me now. It just breaks me all the time, but then because of these kids that I'm looking after, I kind of have to be like a mom and not just break completely, because if I break as the pillar, then I think everything will just disappear.
For me, it's very odd on the outside looking in, just because my family came from a village in India, and so we were always on the other side. I understand exactly what they feel.
They're all babies. They're just babies raising themselves. How do they do it? How do they do it?
Wow.
Thank you. Wow.
I think after watching that video, I think I know one of the answers to this question, but let me ask you, who are some of your heroes in life?
Oh my goodness, some of my heroes, Nelson Mandela, Gracia Michelle, Oprah Winfrey, Bono, President Clinton, Miriam Makeba, my mother. But yeah,
Not in that order?
Not necessarily in that order. But, also so many of these people that we just watched, this woman, Mama Carol, I remember the first time that we met her, and she was literally just saw that all of these kids in her neighborhood in Soweto just she was realizing there was all these kids and they didn't have any parents. So she's trying to figure out what is she going to do. And so she virtually, when I first met her, was taking care of 1,500 kids. You know, I mean, this is incredible. You know, so that type of just desire to make sure that you're being a part of your community and helping to change your community. I mean, that meant a lot to me, because I don't know if we see that often enough, surely not in America, but it was really powerful. So, you know, she's a hero to me, and, you know, these kids, I mean, my goodness. This one girl, Simpiwe, I could tell you a whole story. She's surely a hero for me. But they're strong and still focused and still want to become more than what maybe their environment would dictate.
Do you think they know that you're telling their story halfway around the world?
I hope so.
I
do think so. You know, we know each other well and we keep in touch, and they know how much I care about them, and, you know, as often as I can, I communicate in ways, you know, so I believe they know.
You're giving a voice to people who often aren't heard.
Thank you. And that's something that's so important to me, you know, so important to me. And I think that that's, you know, one of the most powerful things to be able to do. And I give a lot of thanks to be able to have that opportunity, especially because I just feel that, you know, especially for women in particular, because that's become a really big focus for me and something that I identify with, obviously. But for women, when given a voice and a hand in their own destiny, you know what I mean? Especially when suppressed in so many ways, it's like it just changes the trajectory of everything, their family, the community, the world. So that opportunity to have a voice, give them a voice, and allow them to take it from there is like just really empowering for me as well.
I did some research, and I found that you're involved in a few other charities as well. Tell me, what moves you? What are some of the other things that you're involved with that move you?
I mean, this is surely my main passion, you know, keep a child alive. But I think then it's children, you know. I think there's something about knowing that, you know, there's children in the world who are like left alone or left behind, especially now being a mom, you know, that's like, oh my gosh, it takes on a whole other stratosphere of understanding. And I think about that so much. So I think that's definitely a big part of what I care about, you know, feeding children and giving them an opportunity to have a great life, because we all deserve to have a great life no matter where we live or our economic status. You know, we deserve that. And education is a big part of what I care about as well. I think it all fits together, you know. So children, definitely AIDS and education, I think, are things that really move me a lot.
Not long ago, you became a mother.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
19 months. I had an inkling. He wakes up often.
How has having a son changed your view of the world, or has it? Do you see the world differently at all now that you have a child?
Well, in one way, I see the world as a really much better, brighter, and more beautiful place. You know?
Even though he wakes you up?
Oh, that's okay. I don't sleep anyway, so it's fine with me. But, you know, in one way, I'm able to see a freshness, you know, in simple things that maybe, I guess, as we get older, you forget to look at. You know, his excitement over the moon. It's like the moon is the most important thing in the whole world to him. He looks for it every day, in the daytime and the nighttime, everywhere. And how beautiful is the moon, actually? And I think sometimes we forget those little things about the world, you know. So in that way, that's made it better. In another way, it's also made me way more sensitive to a lot of the issues that happen around the world to women and children. And you know, in particular, it makes me think often about, you know, mother-to-child transmission, you know, obviously focused on the AIDS issue. And I think about, like, wow, you know, when I was pregnant, you know, the only thing you're always thinking about is the health of your baby. Like, is he okay? And is he getting the right things? Am I doing the right thing? You know, and so you start to think about a mother who, you know, might be HIV positive and is worried sick because they can't get the medicine that would absolutely be able to allow them to have an HIV-free baby. And so things like that start to hit me like hard in the chest, and I really start to, that gives me more, I feel more ignited, you know, because it's like so important and so simple to fix, I feel.
Have you read him the book Goodnight Moon?
Yeah, he has Goodnight Moon. He likes it.
26.2 miles. You have to be the only multiple Grammy winner who's run a marathon. When did you first get the notion that you could run that far? And how did you train for something like that?
Yeah, I never knew I could run that far up until the last minute.
Was someone chasing you? That's a long distance.
Virtually. I mean, but I just had this desire, like I felt like it was a lifetime achievement for me, and I was like, I'm sure I'll never do it again. So let me just give it a shot. And I did, and I trained for it, and it was this really beautiful kind of balance between spirit and mind and determination. And it wasn't easy. I mean, it was tough. I know mile 20, my feet felt like, I don't know, I can't even describe how they felt. And I know that when I ran into an amphitheater at the end, and at the end when I got there, which was like 5 hours and 30 minutes later, almost no one was left.
But you finished.
I did finish, and I almost cried because it was just this feeling of mind over matter, and knowing that, you know, you could achieve something that you worked hard at.
Imagine for a moment that you had no musical talent. Hard to do, huh?
No.
If you had no musical talent and you could choose anything in the world to do, what would it be?
I mean, I've always thought that I would be a teacher, actually. I felt like I would really get a lot of joy out of that. And I feel like, again, like influencing a young mind and being able to shape a young mind is such a powerful, beautiful thing. And so I always felt that I would gravitate towards that. And I still want to, with my passions and love for education and building schools and building opportunities for people, young people. I think maybe I'll be able to fulfill that anyway.
Maybe you are now.
Huh. That's a good point.
Yeah.
I like it. Thanks.
Let's talk for a second about celebrity. You're one of the most well-known musicians in the world. Tell me something about the power of celebrity and how that can be used for good. What does that feel like?
I mean, I've always found it really powerful when someone said to me, like, celebrity is a currency and it's to be used. You know, I thought that was a very interesting concept, and the first time that I heard it, it really impacted me a lot. But for me, it's more from an organic place. I remember that when I kind of realized that maybe if I had an opportunity to be in front of a group of people, or if I had an opportunity to be on stage, or if I had an opportunity to be, you know, at a television show speaking or something to that nature, that, you know, if I have all these opportunities, I better have something good to say, because you can't waste these chances to reach people, you know. So for me, that's what it means, and just to be able to share, just to be able to share, because I just think that our world sometimes gets so separate and so busy, and everybody's working on so many things, and it's hard to keep up with everything, and oftentimes, you know, maybe there's something I experienced that another person hasn't, or something they've experienced that I haven't, and that opportunity to share that, it really, you know, it gives people something to look forward to believe in, to think about, and so I think that's the importance of it, you know, something to say.
It's a very powerful tool, and you use it in extraordinary ways.
Thank you.
This audience of the 700 eavesdroppers, among them are some of the most interesting, powerful, creative people in the world.
Yes.
Philanthropists and CEOs and
yes.
Big thinkers. If you could say anything to them now that you want them to think about when they lie down to go to sleep tonight, what would it be?
Well, you know, to me, the most incredible thing that we're dealing with now is, and that I just feel so inspired by, is the, you know, HIV/AIDS movement, really being in such a unique place at this point, and us really having a true opportunity as a society to really bend the curve of the AIDS pandemic. And I find that to be so thrilling and so exciting, and something really powerful that we're on the precipice of. And I think that we really have the possibility to see an AIDS-free generation. And just the thought of that really ignites me. It makes me feel incredible, especially meeting all the people I have and seeing their life and their stories. And so, you know, for me, I would really want people to just continue with the momentum of that and feel the excitement of that and not want to let that go, not want to let that just kind of disappear. And so be that, you know, different funders to continue to fund treatment programs for people that are living with HIV/AIDS, or prevention programs to prevent people from getting HIV/AIDS. And I definitely would want people to think about heavily, because I think this is a big deal, heavily about programs to support the prevention of mother-to-child transmission. I think that's a really big deal because, you know, given the proper medicine, 98% of positive mothers will give birth to an HIV-negative child. And like the thought of that is so powerfully grand and big and incredible and possible. That's the most incredible part, that it's possible, that we could help do that, you know. And obviously the elimination of child transmission in the U.S. and other wealthy countries is, you know, it's been virtually eliminated, and we could have that be a global result, you know. And people who I admire, like Senator Clinton and others, have really identified that as being the top way that we would be able to reverse this disease and actually see an AIDS-free generation, you know. And at this point, for mothers to get access to antiretrovirals, it's like flipping a coin. It's like 1 in 2. But imagine all mothers, imagine all children being born free of AIDS. Like, that's power. And I think that we have an incredible power. And I think that feels really invigorating and inspiring. And I think that we absolutely cannot let that not happen. Like, there's just no way that cannot happen. Because if that was your baby, you would do everything that you could to make sure that they were safe. So we have to do that. We have to do that. So for me, that's what I want us to all think about and all sleep on and all make sure that we're fighting for.
That last sentence actually recalls John Lennon's song. You even used the word inspire. Alicia, there's no doubt that you will have an extraordinary legacy from all you've accomplished in music.
Wow.
But I predict that the legacy you'll have for all the lives that you will touch and save around the world from your efforts on behalf of children will be even greater.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Oh, what a beautiful chat. Thanks a lot.